Hi, it's Michelle from C&C Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in New Zealand, and I'd like to show you how to make this cute little mini sewing kit holder. I made these kits as gifts to give fellow demonstrators who will be attending the OnStage event in Auckland, and I wanted to show you how I did it. So the set I used is the It Starts With Art set. Has lots of lovely images for artists, crafters, even for embroidery with buttons and ribbons. And you can get a matching die set that will cut out all these images plus even more images, which I'll show you in a minute. I also use the button embossing folder to get the lovely texture on the background. It almost looks like stitching, and there's lots of buttons and other embroidery images on there. And so the colors I chose to create these items for the swap are based on the Nature's Twine colors from the catalog. So I went with Crumb Cake, Blackberry Bliss, Mint Macaron, and Grapefruit Grove. And so then I decided to use the same colors with the inks and the cardstock in contrasting colors to give an interesting effect for these. So let's get started. I'll show you how I did these. So first I sized my cardstock so that it would fit the mini sewing kits that I purchased online. So the cardstock, choose the color that you wish, and the base of the cardstock is 5 by 14 centimeters, which is also 2 by 5.5 inches, and then I scored it at 6 centimeters and 12.7 centimeters, which is 2 3/8 and 5 inches. I then had a contrasting cardstock, so in this case it's Blackberry Bliss. This piece is 5 centimeters by 4.5 centimeters, so it's rectangular, or that's also 2 by 1 3/4. Then using the dies, I cut out ribbon for this one. Other ones I use the dies to cut out a strip of buttons. There's lots of really nice dies that come with that set. And then I cut out another little button to put onto my finished project. The twine that I used, in this case I'll be using Crumb Cake. It is about 46 centimeters or 18 inches long. That's enough to give you a nice coverage when you put it onto the spool. Now, because I was making so many of these, I decided to use the Stamparatus to make it quick and easy to stamp them all in one setting. So here's the Stamparatus here, and what I did is I used the die to cut the image out of just a bit of thicker scrap card. That way I could quickly stamp a whole lot in one go. So I'm placing the stamp in your slot where you've already cut it out. Then you just simply slide over the Stamparatus to pick it up. Then you take the pre-cut using the dies. I cut lots of the little bobbin, I call them little bobbins to hold the ribbon on, and you place that into your little template. Ink up your stamp. And the nice thing with this is if it doesn't ink very well, you can ink it up again. And then set it over your image and give it a nice press and bring it up, and there you go. You've got your image already done. So I did 80 of these, and this saved me lots of time. I just kept popping them in, inking up, and flipping it over with the Stamparatus. So now the next part is putting the cord on. So I used a bit of snail on the back just to hold the cord in place, the twine rather. Hold it in place while I wrapped it. So start out with a bit, spread it over the snail, like double-sided tape if you're using that, and then I just spread it out so it sticks down nicely there, and then just wrap it gently across here. So I did a few trial ones to figure out what was the right length. It all depends on what size twine or thread that you're using to wrap it with, but I found that the 46 centimeters was a good length, and it got me a nice quantity out of the package, because the package, the Nature's Twine package, comes with the 4 colors. So I just spread that out and stick it down onto the double-sided tape. So that gives you that top part. And then to hold it in place even better, in preparation for the next step, I simply used a dimensional right over where I've stuck the twine. Okay? So pop your dimensionals there to hold the twine in place even more. Now for the base card, bend it over at where you scored it and give it a bit of a burnish. And then just staple it about 1/3 up from where the bottom is. You don't want to do it right in the middle. It depends on which embellishment you're going to use. So just do a little staple there. That gives you the matchbook fold. So you want it to be a bit down so you can have enough room to slide the top in. Okay, and then you also want it to be in such a place that you can hide it easily with your embellishment on the back. So for this one, I'm going to use, excuse me, I'm going to use the ribbon cutout. So this kind of looks like a stream of ribbon. When you first cut it out, it's still attached with a straight bit, and you just snip that little straight bit off the bottom, give it a bit of a shape there. So determine, so see there I can still see the staples, so I'll try turning it the other way and see if I can hide the staple better. So determine a way that's going to hide your staple, and then just pop some glue on the back and pop it over there to hide your staple. Oh, there we go. Just takes a second or two to hold it in place. Nice thing with the Tombow is you have room to wiggle it around to make it fit how you want it. So now you don't see that staple. And then I can just turn it over and snip off the extra bits. Okay. All right. So now the next step is to emboss this piece. So I'll go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm back and I've gone, and I'm not sure if you can see that, I've embossed, because this is a dark one, the Blackberry Bliss cardstock. A little bit of an image there. Okay, so for that, I like to put it on with it closed, because that way I can get the right amount of contrasting cardstock showing around the edges. So just a bit. Because it's an embossed image, I like to use Tombow liquid glue, because the double-sided tape doesn't always catch all the areas, and the liquid glue can go into all the little bits, the little nooks and crannies that you get when you emboss. So do it there to give you a bit of space around the edges and not too far down, so that way I can still open it. So that way there's a big space there, but if you do it when it's folded shut, you can have a nice even. Okay? Then use a bit of snail on the inside, just enough to hold the little sewing kit. So that's just to hold your little sewing kit in place, and that's way it can actually easily be peeled off. You could use a glue dot in there if you want it, but I just find snails handy because it's right there. So close it up, and then simply pop your little bobbin on the top. Let's get the bobbin going. I just put it at an angle because it looks more interesting, and it kind of curves over the top bit. And the very last thing is to pop our little colored button on. which at the moment I can't seem to find. So bear with me. Okay, I found my button. It was hiding under the cap of the glue. Things like that always seem to happen. So I just put a little bit of Tombow around the button, just enough to hold it on to the thread, and just pop it on there, hold it down for a second or two, and there you go. You got your cute little mini sewing kit. And with the sewing theme using the It Starts With Art set, it's a perfect match. So that was the set I used, and those are the items I made. And here's the pile that I've already made that I'll be taking to OnStage. So if any of the demonstrators going to Auckland OnStage are watching, I hope you'll swap with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, as well as subscribe for any future videos. If you'd like to purchase any of these items and you live in New Zealand and don't already have a demonstrator, please contact me. My blog and my website are listed right here. I'll be putting the instructions and list all the products that was used in this video in the description. And please leave a comment if you'd like. I'd love hearing from you. Thank you. Bye.